Good day, everybody, and welcome back to the flight deck. We are here in our U.S. Capitals tour, currently sitting at the small airport just outside Dover, Delaware, and we're going to be heading over to Annapolis, Maryland today. With me is Kevin in the DC-3 in front of me, and of course we're flying the Allegheny Airlines. Apologize for the late start. Was on the phone, had something I had to deal with, and it took a few minutes longer than I thought it was going to. But we're ready to go. So this is going to be an interesting flight. We are taking off from a short field here in Dover, and we're heading to a short field over in Maryland. So it is going to be interesting. So let's hop on board. We'll get the aircraft up and going. Everything's loaded up, and we are ready to go. All right, so we're on board the airplane now. So we can come up top. We're going to make sure the battery cart is on to power up the airplane, and we will turn on the avionics. We'll turn on our position lights, and everything else up here can stay off. We will just forgot to switch that over. Let me do that quickly. There we go. And that allows me to do these individually. And we'll make sure our electric Thrustmaster is pushed in. Alright, so we're going to be starting number 2 engine, the right engine first. So to get that ready to go, we are going to go mixture to auto rich. We're going to put the propeller fully forward. We're going to crack the throttles about 1 inch. Fuel is good. We have about half tanks. We have enough on board. We're going to turn on the boost pumps, turn on the generators, get that all set up and ready to go. We're going to start energizing the right engine. Switch will come down. We'll hear it start to wind up. Here, Kevin's starting up as well. There's the engine winding up. We're going to hit the mesh on the right and then the right engine prime. And we should get an engine start, but we won't because I haven't turned my fuel tanks over. So there's mains on that side and mains on that side. We now have fuel pressure. Mesh on the right. Let's turn that off. Let's energize again. Probably waited too long there. Waiting for her to stabilize. There's the mesh and the primer. And there we go. Listen, Mr. I have no interior to my airplane over there. I know. Alright, there's a good start. The engine is starting to come up. I'm going to ease the throttle back slightly, just keep her at about 1,000 RPMs. So we're going to go with the other engine now. We'll bring the mixture up to auto rich, propellers fully forward, crank the throttle to about 1 inch as well. Give a nice look down. Yeah, everything is clear. Boost pumps will come on, generator will come on. We will energize on the left side. Here winding up, spinning the flywheel inside the engine, so when we engage the mesh it will spin the propeller and turn the engine over so we can get her going. And we will mesh on the left. There's the primer. Shoot some fuel into the cylinders. Alright, there's the good start. And a little bit of smoke coming out. And she's starting to spin up nicely. Alright, so the crew chief can get on board. We'll close the doors in the back. Get these windows closed up as well, make it a little bit quieter inside. Alright, so while the engines come up, the pressure comes up, the oil warms up and gets a little bit thinner in there. we are going to start getting ourselves ready. So the first thing we're going to do, we're only going to be flying off of one VOR today. We're basically going to fly outbound on the ENO VOR. So coming up top, we're going to tune in everything. So 122.8 just for, it's this one. 122.8 just for the sake of, and we'll switch that over there. Kevin, I am going up in the voice channel on Discord if you want to join me over there. Give a radio check if you come in, and we'll see. So we're not going to be using the ADF transponder set 1200. That is perfectly fine. We are going to be using the ENO VOR, which is 111.4, so we'll get that dialed in. And there's our 00. We'll tune that in. We're going to want a heading of
Traffic edge Hamrock 1 tank radio check.
Loud and clear. 262 will be our heading, so we're going to come down here. So we're going to want to dial this over to 262, and that is going to be our rough guide to the direction we're going to be going once we hit the VOR, which is going to be, 262, about there, and we're also going to dial this one around to 262. Basically flying VOR today, but we'll use these as a little bit of an assist for us. So now that everything's up in the gyros and pressurized and everything, we can make sure our gyros are aligned. We're going to come back here and we will get the hydraulics working for all the gyros that we're going to be using. There we go. And again, we're going to be manually coming out there. So given our short field here, we're going to go on a flaps 2, so half flaps for takeoff. We'll get those moving all the way down. Engines are coming up nicely. So there's no weather forecasting here at the small field, but the Dover Air Force Base, which is not too far away, has put out a weather update. I'll put it into the chat. Hey, Brian. I'll put it into the chat. There's 230 at 9 knots, and it's 32 degrees. It is hot out there today. And 29902 is the Barrow, which is pretty cool. It's right on our standard pressure. And we are going to be good there. So we're going to be taking off on the westward runway, which in this case is a heading of 22 degrees. And that's just up at this end here where we are. So I am also going to turn this to roughly 220. We're going to make a right turn, and we're going to loop around the field out towards the VOR and then come back. Alright, so I think we are pretty much ready to go. Let's get a nice view here. Now the name of this airport is Chandel. Chandel area traffic, Allegheny 108 is going to taxi runway 22 for left-hand turnout at departure to the southwest. Alright, so for some reason that didn't go. Okay, that seems to be working now. Alright, so the engines are working fine. We'll get on the brakes. Pump the brakes a couple times, make sure they are set. And we can and move out.
Channel traffic behind the Allegheny. Shamrock 1 Tango is for taxi to runway 22 for southwest departure.
As you can see, the airport's not really designed for aircraft of this size, but this is kind of the airport for the state, so closest to the capital, without going into the Air Force Base. So I think this is a fun one to play around with. We're definitely going to sit on the brakes for the takeoff here. And we're going to use every inch of the runway. And our destination runway, of course, we're going into is 2,500 feet as well, so that's going to make it very interesting. There we go. Alright, so brakes are full. Let's bring the engines up. And again, we're going to go to 40 inches when we are ready to roll. I know. This is a little GA airport, so they're not used to big airplanes like this coming in here. So we'll go up top, we'll make sure we are on aircraft battery card is deployed, landing gear warning horn is on, avionics, beacon, all the stuff I was missing there. Get all the lights on. Pitot heat is on. We're all good there. That's all good. Boost pumps are on. Generators are on. We are good to go. Chandel area traffic. Allegheny 108. Rolling runway 22, left-hand turn out to the Echo November Oscar VOR, and then we'll be proceeding southwest towards Annapolis. All right, here we go.
The traffic Shamrock 1 Tango short from 22 behind departure traffic behind. Take this from 22.
Powering up. It's 30, 35, 40 inches. Engines are stable. Brakes released. A little bit of forward pressure. If we get the tail up, it'll help with our acceleration. We're looking for about 75 knots. There's 70, a little bit of back pressure. 80 knots, a little bit more back pressure. And we are up, positive rate, gear coming up, and we're up over the trees. Alright, we're going to try to keep around 80 knots for the climb initially, so we get to about 500 feet, and then we'll bring up flaps by a notch, and then begin our left turn. There's 400 feet. First notch of flaps. We're getting a little slow. Get that nose down. Speed start coming up. And we're going to come back to our climb power now. So 25 inches, or 2,500 RPM, 35 inches on the engine
And the traffic
power.
Tango rolling right 22, so that's southwest departure.
500 feet, beginning our left turn. Speed's coming up. We can bring up our flaps all the way. There's the Air Force Base. That's a big heavy lift station. Lots of large aircraft. We're only going up to 3,000 feet for our cruise today. It's 110 knots. We're going to circle around. back pressure going in the trim. There we go. So as we're climbing out, landing lights can come off. We'll leave everything else on. Just going to keep this nice gentle half rate turn going as we head up towards 3,000 feet. Alright, we're going to come level. There's the airport. There's Kevin. Ease up. Climbing out. Very nice. We're just about to fly over the runway. We're going to head up towards the VOR. As you can see, we are picking it up. It's right ahead of us. 2,000 feet coming up. Alright, so we're going to align our gyro. We're going to turn it on. And we're going to make sure we are trimmed for a bit of a climb here. Keep that climb going. And we're going up for 3,000 feet. There's 3,000 coming up. We'll start to nose down. There we go. Get the aircraft into a level flight position. You can trail our cowl flaps. Speed's going to start coming up. And we're going to head off on our heading of 262 now. There we go. Not sure why we're not... oh, there we go. 262. And we're going to come back to our cruise power. So props coming back to 20 inches, or 2,000 RPM. Engines to 30 inches. And then reset the props. That is all good. Boost pumps can come off. Generators are on. Everything else is looking good. Going to bring our turn around a little bit, and then we will intercept our course. We'll get our altitude under control as well. So as we continue the tour here, we're still flying around some of the newer states that came into the Union, if not the original 13. So we're heading now from Delaware over to Maryland. Of course, Annapolis is on the Chesapeake Bay, and it's also home to the U.S. Naval Academy. I don't know what that is pointing to. That is not 1114. Oh, that's why I got it in wrong. 1114. There we go. Now that's pointing the right way. That's why you always have to double check this stuff. And there's the Air Force Base over there. And as we accelerate, we got to keep nosing down just to make sure we don't get too far. We'll check our engines and everything is good. And we can bring our mixtures back to auto lean. So we're not using more fuel than we need to. All right, and we can dial over to 262 now. And head out across Delaware. Lots of little airports in this part of the world. Kind of all over the place. And it's not a long flight. There's Kevin back there. A few aircraft in the area. Again, we are on multiplayer. I'll leave that up so we can see where Kevin is. We're just 3,000 feet, enjoying the views as we cruise along. We're going to get some heat thermals going. It is hot again. It's 32 degrees. Yeah, there'll be turbulence. I've actually got my turbulence turned down. I had it up higher in the sim, and it was very unrealistic. I was getting what you would consider dangerous levels of turbulence when it was a decent day with nothing really going on. So no explanation for it. Starting to get down to 3,000 feet. We'll start to level off. There we go. So the nearest weather we can get for where we're heading into Annapolis, Maryland is actually Baltimore International, which is just to the northwest, I believe. So you can see winds are 290 at 9 knots. Still 33 degrees, 299 or 4. So we'll come down and we'll just edge the barrel up slightly. You have yours set to realistic? I'll reset it. Maybe it was just that day I was getting some bad data. And we're cruising at about 175, which is about right. So the airport we're going into, which is Annapolis, Maryland, we're going to be landing on runway 30, 2,500 feet. So given the direction we're coming in at, we're going to cross overhead the field and do a left downwind base and final for our approach. Let's see if we can a little bit more accurate on what radial we're actually flying. There we go. I'm going to turn slightly more to the westward just to keep us tracking out to the airport. We're going to be crossing the bay ahead as well. You can see the bay there, but we've also got some low cloud off to the right. Hello, David. So the approach to this will be all manual. We'll be doing a standard general aviation pattern entry for non-controlled airfields. Again, will be the crossing overhead the field, then we'll turn into a mid-left downwind, left base, and then on to final. Airport elevation for Annapolis is 34 feet, so it'll be a 1,000-foot circuit height when we come in. And we will be flying over the town shortly. Some towers on the maps that are giving us a little bit of warnings. Kick a couple more degrees westward and notch down slightly again. We're getting pushed upwards by the thermals. We want to get ourselves back down to that 3,000 feet. Beautiful aircraft, first saw service 1935, and was a major workhorse during the war, known as the C-47 for the Air Force and the RD-4 for the Navy. That'd be the U.S. Army Air Force, as the U.S. Air Force didn't exist until 1948, 1949. I think they formed it. David, I have no idea. Go on the VATSIM website, find their contact information there. I'm not with VATSIM. I have no idea. But just go onto the VATSIM website and there should be contact information there for getting a hold of people. Alright, so there's the bay coming up, and you can see as we look further up towards Baltimore, which is in that direction, that's where all the cloud is. Still kind of tuned in here. We don't really have a nav aid at Annapolis. I mean, if we kept flying down, we come up to Washington, D.C., then there's Camp Andrews Air Force Base, and then Baltimore will be off to our right, but it's not really areas we want to be flying into at the moment. See, we have our radio altimeter here. It's showing our altitude above the ground. I'm not 100% sure how it works. This is radio altitude hundreds of feet. So that's 100, 200, 300. And that'd be 3,000, 2,500 and down. It's set. I'm assuming you set that for minimums, but there's no knob here to kind of set, so not 100% sure. We are looking good, and here is Chesapeake Bay. Atlantic Ocean out that way. If you go up this way, Baltimore. We're going to be crossing over the bridge here. The knob is above the compass. Really? Oh. Alright, so if we set minimum, say, three hundred feet. It's now reading 475 feet. turn that over to 200 feet. It's 350. I don't do that to change my voice to speak deeper. This is my normal talking voice, so I have a deeper bass type of voice. I do move it around dynamically for range, for emphasis, and all that stuff, but this is pretty much my normal voice. Alright, so there's the bridge. We're going to fly overhead. Let's give ourselves a little bit more that way. Basically, the road comes out here and then loops around, and that's Annapolis. We should be getting a little bit of a wind push as well. So the airport should be just over there. Just tracking to make sure that we are roughly on the right course. Again, we're going up again, so we'll dial that downwards. And we're only 20 feet away, so we're going to keep that descent going. We'll work our way down towards 2,000 feet and then adjust from there. Maybe, but it's showing like almost 350, and I'm set for 200, so not sure where that's coming in there. This is accurate. The green radio altimeter, see 2400. We're down to about 2400 because we're over water. So the altimeter above the ground is correct. There's 2,000 feet coming up, so we're going to decrease that descent slightly. There we go. Let the aircraft stabilize around 2,000 feet. Actually an airfield here. So this is the Stevenson Bay Bridge, and right over here we have the Stevensville Bay Bridge Airport. That's it right there. It's kind of cool. And there's Annapolis directly ahead. And we've just lost the VOR that we've been tracking. So remember, VORs are line of sight. You can lose them over the curvature of the Earth. There's a calculation you can work out how far out you should be able to pick up a VOR. I don't remember it offhand on what the distance is. Did I ever keep experience for ghosts? No, because ghosts aren't real. Alright, so we're tracking in pretty good now. There's Annapolis as we're chugging overhead, and thanks to multiplayer I have lost everybody. Wonderful. But we got this chunk of land. There's Annapolis, and we've got this little bay here, and the airport is on the other side of the bay. I think it might be, just looking where we are, that could be it right about there. So I'm going to turn us a little bit more westward. Again, I want to come in crossing overhead the field, so I'm going to move to the west so I can angle back in towards it. Definitely see the towers here, their warnings about on the charts. There's Annapolis, and I think, do it this way, I think that's the U.S. Naval Academy right there. I think. Looks like it could be. Sports field, buildings, accommodations, and all that stuff on the water. Makes sense. Alright. David, physics and the laws contained therein. So we're going to head down to 1,000 feet now. And that will get us set up for our pass overhead the field. Again, we're just going to do a curving in. We'll pass at about 220 degrees or so. And then we will do our around and downwind. So I'm going to dial this around to 225-ish. That's about 300. So if that's the angle, about 221. That's our runway headings. That'll give me our diagonal for the cross. Alright, we can start curving around now. Descending down towards 1,000 feet.
Annapolis traffic, Shamrock 1 Tango currently north of the shortwave towers. We're going to be declare our correction because for 1,500.
Annapolis traffic, Allegheny 108, 5 miles to the northeast, going to cross overhead the field 1,000 feet for the mid-left downwind for runway 30 Annapolis. Alright, so as we come in now, we're going to, mixture is going to go up to auto rich on both engines. Props are going to go fully forward. Here's the airfield right there. Just flying by at the south end of it. So we're going to be coming back down over the housing and the trees, landing, and we can go right to the end where there is a turnoff, which is good. So there's 1,000 feet coming up. Autopilot is disconnected. We'll level at 1,000 feet. Start bringing the power back. Let the airspeed come down. Annapolis area traffic, Allegheny 108, turning downwind, runway 30 Annapolis. Maintain that 1,000 feet. We're going to make that turn until we are on that heading of 12. There's our shadow down there. And that will put us on the downwind. Got to watch these towers. It's 900 feet. Don't want to be getting too low. Alright, so we're not doing too bad. So speed's down to 120. We'll get the gear down. First notch of flaps. That power up. A lot of drag to fight here.
Annapolis traffic signal Tango currently north of the field, entering the pattern for downwind 30.
Keep that turn to 12 now. We don't want to get too far away from the airfield. There we go. Annapolis area traffic, Allegheny 108, turning left base, runway 30 Annapolis. Turn to 030 degrees. That will be our base. Well, we're going upwards. We don't want to be going upwards. Speed back. There's the airport. You see the green light. Annapolis area traffic, Allegheny 108, turning final, runway 30 Annapolis. 100 knots, flaps 2.
Annapolis traffic signal Tango currently established on the downwind, abeam the field for Annapolis.
So we're just going to do a curving approach here. As we come in over the houses, we're going to tighten. And there's the airport there. Flaps 3. Lots of trim now. And flaps full. I keep it at about 85. One red, one white. We're looking good. Adjusting for the wind. A little low, we can drag it. Trees, there's 85 knots. Don't want to get too much slower until we can get her down. 80 knots. It's coming down for stall speed. A little bit of bounce, but we got her down. Get her on the runway. A little bit of braking to help. Get that tail down.
Annapolis traffic, Shamrock 1 Tango overhead the marina turning base for runway 30.
Full brakes. Tails all the way back. And definitely need the entire runway for this one. Very narrow taxiway here. Allegheny traffic, correction, Annapolis traffic, Allegheny 108 is clear, runway 30, taxiing to the apron. Alright, so flaps can come all the way up. Landing lights are off. We have to put them on, but it's fine. We'll get the cowl flaps open. Pitot heat can come off. Don't want to bring the engines down too far.
Annapolis traffic, Shamrock 1 Tango turning final from the zone.
Alright, we're just going to put her right out on the green field here, since there's really not much else available for parking. I mean, it says there's an area here, but that ramp's not very big. So we're going to come down here, we're going to swing around, and then we'll just park it on the grass. Still not seeing any multiplayer traffic out there, which is wonderful. Alright, let's get her spun around. Oh, got multiplayer traffic over there. And there we go. All nicely parked up. So we'll get the parking brakes on. We'll bring the engines up to 1,000 RPM and we'll let them idle for a minute. And let them cool and stabilize. There's Kevin coming in now. Alright, so as he's coming in, we can get ready to shut down. So we're going to shut down the left engine, the right engine. Propellers will come back to normal. We'll get the fuel off on both sides. There we go. Fuel's off. We'll get the generators off. Boost pumps fine. I can hear Kevin coming in. Mags will go off. Get the doors in the back and everything else open. Position lights will come off. Beacon, avionics. We'll get the battery cart on. There we go. And there's Kevin landing there. His doors are open because I opened mine, and it's that weird thing. Whoa, he turned pink. It's that weird thing where they do it for all the aircraft, which is rather annoying. Oh, did we have an overrun? I think we did. You going swimming? Not good. Very short runway. You'd never really normally fly an aircraft like this.
Mayday, Shamrock. Tango Road, the trucks, we've overrun the runway.
Roger, it's lunchtime. We'll be back in about half an hour.
Roger, please stand by, Shamrock. Tango.
Alright, so that's going to do it, guys, for this one. Join us on the next one. And, Satellite Interpreter over on Twitch. How are you? Hope you're doing well. We'll be back on Friday when we're back in Aurora, the 737s, and then I'm off on holidays for about 10 days. More to follow about our schedule when we come back after that. So thanks for coming along, guys. Thanks for watching. Once again, if you want to fly these flights with us and enjoy the challenges like landing on ultra short runways in these aircraft, you're more than welcome to do so. Come over to the Discord. Links in the description. I will throw, actually the bot just put it up in the chat as well, and you're more than welcome to come and join us. Multiplayer Wednesdays and Sundays, VATSIM Monday, Tuesday, Friday, and Saturdays. Take care, everybody. We'll see you on the next one. Bye for now.